Across the country, there are around 7 million people looking for some kind of affordable housing. Here in Boston, they are deploying a new plan that would incentivize developers to turn office space into residential units. And it could help address the affordable housing crisis. From down here, looking around, it's often easy to assume that there is just as much activity occurring inside of American office buildings as outside. But Felix Zemmel knows that isn't always true.
We're seeing a lot of smaller businesses closing up in downtown areas.
Zemmel is a lecturer at Boston University. He studies affordable housing and building codes and says cities like Boston are not alone in their struggle right now to keep offices occupied.
There isn't as much foot traffic as there was.
This year, office vacancy rates in the U.S. hit a 30-year high, ticking up to 17.8%, fueled by recession fears and hybrid working. In Boston, the office vacancy rate is now at 19.1%. But there are plans in the works to bring life back to empty workspaces, while also addressing a severe lack of affordable housing.
Boston in particular, and across the nation, but Boston in particular is in great need of affordable housing.
Boston, a city of 654,000, will now offer developers up to a 75% reduction in the residential tax rate to turn offices into residential housing. 20% of units would have to be considered affordable housing.
I mean, it's a national crisis, not just in Boston.
And Corbin Fennell is with Action for Boston Community Development and knows full well the impacts of 7.3 million Americans needing affordable housing.
Either they are trying to figure out, do I eat or do I pay rent?
Since the start of the pandemic, countless communities nationwide have floated the idea of turning offices into residential housing. But Boston is the first to put a concrete funding plan in place to make it happen.
You have to think outside of the box in order to at least try to meet the need.
Just how successful could the shift be? Experts point to Boston's Seaport District as a perfect example of how this plan could work. In the 1990s, the Seaport was mainly parking lots. Now it's a bustling hub of mixed-use space, filled with both businesses and residential units.
And it really shows how vibrant the community can become. That's partially why we're looking at it across Boston.
The possibility of providing more Americans a place to call home by converting the places we used to work. Chris Conti, Scripps News, Boston.